The couch out loud, roar and rave, human books with stories to share.
Cool. Chapter 5, Personal Thoughts and Philosophy, and also future projects. So I guess personal, just for me personally, my philosophy has been for a long time to just make art, which I know sounds very silly, but I guess it doesn't matter how you feel or how I'm feeling or what's going on in my life or in the world. If I just make time to show up in the studio, then things happen. I think it's a bit of a lie that we're fed a little about inspiration, that it just sort of like inspiration comes to you. But I find that's rarely the case. Like lightning bolt ideas always feel really good when you have them, and then when you pursue them, you're like, actually that idea wasn't as good as I thought. But the ideas and the concepts that you labor over and marinate with for weeks, I find are the ones, for me personally, are the ones that I've been happiest with. You know, I never just take my first idea or my first thought and run with it. I know that, and I know now, which obviously it's taken me a few years to figure out, but there is an evolution of an idea and a process, and I know that, okay, I shouldn't like the first 3 iterations of something, but by the 4th or the 5th, I know it's going to be better. And so for that to happen, I just have to show up and make things, and it doesn't really matter and that's one other wonderful thing about ceramics is as long as I haven't fired it, I can always recycle it, so it doesn't feel like a waste. I can just play with material and then something eventually sticks. So I guess that's just sort of how I get through it, and I guess kind of I'm at the stage where I don't often say no to, it's getting a little bit different now as I get busier, but just saying yes to opportunities wherever you can, and just applying for things, and you know, I mean, like many artists, I have a lot of issues with self-doubt and things like that, but you just sort of have to put that aside and just apply anyway, or just, you know, convince yourself that you're qualified, even if you feel like you're not, because I know that I am, and yeah, just keep going and keep making art, and that's led me to this year especially quite a great range of wonderful opportunities. I had an exhibition earlier this year with a gallery in Brisbane, the 3rd quarter, which unfortunately didn't actually end up being in a gallery, it was all online, but I guess that was, as far as things to complain about in terms of COVID, it's a very little, like, you know, it pales in comparison to what other people have had to deal with. It's led me to Swell, where I got to install an artwork on the beach for lots and lots of people to see, which you don't get to do every day, so that's been really, really thrilling, especially because Swell is just such a lovely, it's for everyone. For both artists and for both the artists and for the audiences, because I know that galleries can be intimidating, both for artists and for audiences, but Swell isn't like that because it's on a beach, so it's really lovely to see so many different kinds of people seeing your work. It's just a joy to be a little fly on the wall sitting next to your sculpture, especially if people don't know that you're the one that made it. And you know, you will get some people walk past and say, oh, I could have made that, and you just have a little bit of a chuckle to yourself. And then some people, you know, like asking their kids what they think, and it's just lovely being able to hear that sort of thing. So that's just, yeah, that just comes from applying for things. It doesn't matter how many times you get rejected, you just keep applying for things, you just keep making things, and yeah, eventually it sticks, which is nice. I'm extremely fortunate because it's also led me to some really exciting opportunities for next year, especially with you know, new spaces opening up on the Gold Coast. I've got a project coming up where I get to really, it's allowed me to really push, I guess, the conceptual qualities of ceramics as a medium. So I'll be looking at how ceramics breaks down, or how clay breaks down, and that transformation from clay to ceramic. And yeah, sort of researching that project, and I'm really excited to be able to share a little bit more about that later on. Yeah. End of chapter 5.
The couch out loud, roar and rave, human books with stories to share, their ups and the downs, and everything in between. Pets optional is where it can be seen. I said